Welcome back to Commercial Breaks with Miss Education. I'm Miss Education. Okay, so I am going to continue this little mini series. Oh my goodness, that was ridiculous. But anyways, gonna continue this little let's just walk through the 10 commandments, the 10 words, and what I've learned and what this means to me and how I'm making it make sense to me so that I can do it out of love and understanding. Um and not really out of obligation, um, though God it is something that Yah obliges and asks of me to do, but now I'm doing it because I love and I understand. So, I'm doing it out of reverence. I'm doing it from the depths of my heart. I'm not doing it because I was told to do it. I'm not doing as in, like, I was trained to do it. I now understand why I'm doing it, and I choose to do it, right? So let's get into it. We are now on commandments 5 and 6. This one should be shorter. I keep saying that, and then I go over 13 minutes. It's ridiculous. But anyways, hopefully you can hang in there with me. But I'm gonna hang in there for myself because I get a blessing out of this. All right, so let's go into it. So I'm what number 5 and 6. So I'm Exodus 20 verses 12 and 13. Real short, but impactful. The commandment word number 5 says to honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. I think it's self-explanatory, right? To honor your father and your mother. And I do want to mention this. This is, I believe this is the first one that has a promise attached to it, and the promise is that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord gave, that God giveth thee. By honoring your parents, there is a blessing in that, right? There is a promise that your days will be extended. Um, and what does that mean? I'm not God. But there is does that mean that now because I honored my parents, I'm gonna live to 99 years old, and individuals whose lives were cut short is because they didn't honor their mother and father? I don't know that. But what I do know, right? I'm going just to take this and make it make sense. God is telling me to honor my father and my mother. And by doing so, because I have loving parents, I know that by honoring and which is respecting, following their rules, abiding by what they want of me. Again, because they love me, they're good parents, that they put me on a path where I'm less likely to find myself in danger, where I'm less likely to find myself in a situation that I could, that would result in my life being cut short, right? Um, it makes sense to me. So what did I write here? It says, right, this comes with a promise. Again, I'm in my little book. This comes with a promise. By doing so, your days may be longer in the land that Yah has given you. Reading on a little further, Yah breaks some other stuff down. And I just, I'm reading, I'm like, I need to make sense. I need connection. And just the next chapter, chapter 21, verse 15, right? He goes on to say, and he that smiteth, that means he that strikes his father or his mother shall shortly be put to death. That's part of honoring. We're not laying hands on our parents. God's like, no, you're not laying hands on your parents. And in this time, right, during this time period, this would result in death. Like you are not, because if you are going to be in our community and you're going to lay hands on your parents, what's going to stop you from laying hands on a stranger? There is no stopping you, right? I know people are like, well, Jen, you're okay with him putting to death. Look, I'm not, yeah. This is what he said. That's what's gonna happen, right? Because again, if you could put your hands on your mom and dad, I don't know who else you gonna put your hands on. Then go down to verse 17. It says, he that curseth. Listen, if you curse at your father or your mother, you also will be surely put to death. And I think, I don't know, again, trying to make sense of this, I'm just getting into this. So immediately my brain goes into cursing, like using bad words, right? Because that's what this means to us nowadays. And just now having this conversation with myself as I'm looking at myself right now on the screen, and if you're listening, I'm like, wait a minute, cursing, because for us right now, that's like using the F word and stuff. But we also know that there were those who were putting curses on each other, like saying things like, "I put a curse on you," right? Is that what that meant? And again, I'm gonna have to look into it. But either way, you are not to speak a certain way. This is what I get out of this. You are not to speak a certain way to your parents. Because again, if you could disrespect them and speak to them any old way, whether it's cussing them out or putting some kind of curse on them that has weight behind it, what are you going to do to the rest of the community? Right? What are you going to do? What harm are you going to cause? So God says, listen, honor your parents. And by honoring your parents, your days will be longer. And because as a mom now, I know that I only want the best for my children. And in everything, I'm like, yo, be careful, because I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to experience pain. I don't want your life to be taken short, right? To be cut short. So follow, listen, honor so that your days can be long. I mean, that makes sense as a sinful parent. That's exactly what I want for my kids. When I tell them to do stuff, is because I want to protect them. And by protecting them, I know that I take them away from danger. And part of danger, right? One of the results of danger is a shortening of life. Yo, ain't he dope? It makes sense. Okay, anyways, look, I told you I'm gonna go quickly. Number 6. So number 6 says, "Thou shalt not kill," in the um King James Version. But again, I'm like, God, make it make sense. I know that you don't mess around with words. And this is a translation, and words have changed meanings over time, right? Because, for instance, gay used to be happy. Now gay is something else, right? So, thou shalt not kill. In another place, it reads, thou shalt not murder. And there is a difference between killing and murdering. There is a difference, right? So in my Bible, I don't know if you could see it. It's somewhere here, but I literally crossed out the word kill and put murder. Thou shalt not murder. Okay. Why not murder? Because murder is to take life with intent, right? It's a malicious act. Versus killing is is seen more as an accidental thing, right? And again, I'm going through reading this. And for instance, it says, Exodus 21, this is the next chapter. He that smiteth a man, so he that strikes a man so that he dies, he shall surely be put to death. That right there, right? He considers this a murder. So I'm going to hit you, right? And I'm hitting you with the intent to hurt you. That hurt leads to death, right? Um, you got to die. Right? I'm not laughing. I'm just like, yo, God's like, yo, you got to die. I don't know what to tell you, right? Now, verse 20 of the next chapter. If a man smiteth, strikes his servant or his maid with a rod, and he dies under his hand, he shall be surely punished. You can't go out, you can't be out in these streets just killing people, murdering people. Because then again, it has to make sense. I'm like, wait a minute, God. There are so many incidences in this historical book where you instruct people to take another life. So are you telling me that you are instructing certain individuals to break the 10 commandments? You're like, yo, it's okay, break it this time. I'm gonna need you to eliminate those people. Right? So again, it has to make sense. So this is why words matter. Killing and murdering. Is there a reason, right? If you come into my house and I defend myself and I end up taking your life, am I held guilty? I mean, I know I may have my own personal, like, oh my goodness, I feel bad, but will I be found guilty? I will not be found guilty in the law in man's eyes. And while reading this, I'm not guilty in God's eyes, right? Because I'm defending myself. But for me to be upset at you because you did XYZ, and then I come at you and I, out of revenge, anger, smite, whatever it is, and I kill you, I just take your life. That is breaking the 10 commandments. And again, I'm still learning, and I may be wrong. So please let me know. Please don't hesitate. But again, God makes sense. He makes sense. So he's not telling you just, with my understanding, he's not telling me to just lay there and, if somebody's coming at you, don't defend yourself. Defend yourself. And if you happen to be stronger, and and you take their life, it is unfortunate, right? Because there is a mother who will be bearing her child, and it is sad. But this was self-defense. Um, so I think those 2 were really self-explanatory. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Commandment number 5, word number 5. And then number 6, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not murder, right? With the malicious intent to take life. We can't walk around that. That's just a everyday. That's a common law. That's a common law. A common. What am I saying? That's an everyday. We all agree that this is what we live by, right? Our society, we agree by these norms. We are not going out here murdering people. And if you do, there are consequences, period. So God's like, yo, there are consequences for me too. We're not out here murdering each other. Okay. Um, and there are things that in this one I understand, but again, for instance, you told Samuel, the prophet Samuel, to kill King Agag. Did you now command Samuel to break the sixth commandment? Look, there are things that are above my head, but it still makes sense. It makes sense in my world that you do not want me to go out in these streets out of anger, just killing folks, right? Out of revenge, just killing folks. But if I need to defend myself, and I unfortunately by take your life, well, God will not hold me. I am not breaking the commandments. Okay. Anyway, see, like I said, this one was gonna be shorter. I do want to mention one thing, which I guess I'll say at the end, but I know that there are those who say that the old covenant is away with, so we only focus on the new covenant. And the new covenants, they ask the Messiah, what's the most important commandment? And he said there are 2 of them, right? To love your God with all your heart and to love your neighbor. Well, if you actually break down the 10 words, the 10 commandments, the first 4 deal with loving God. Because you love me, this is what you're going to do, right? And again, remember, Messiah was like, there are 2. The first one is love your Lord, the God, your God. And the first 4 of the 10 commandments deal with what God is requiring of us because you love me, do this. And then Messiah in the New Testament, the new covenant, right? In the new covenant, Messiah is like the second to love your neighbor as yourself. Well, if you go down the next 6 commandments, right? Number 5 through 10, all deal with your neighbor, deal with human interaction, us on earth dealing with each other. The first of these is to honor thy father and thy mother. That's a personal, interpersonal relationship. The second one is do not murder. Don't go out here killing your neighbor, right? Again, 2 commandments. God, Messiah says, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, right? And love your neighbor as yourself. So the whole book goes together. I know there are those who are like, no, we're out with the the old covenant. No, we're not. God did not. Yahweh did not put something in the majority of the book. Okay, the majority of the book is the Old Testament. Yahweh did not put all these words together for us to now throw it away and just abide by the New Testament, the New Covenant, right? Our Messiah came to fulfill what was said, and he did. So anyways, that's another topic, but I just wanted to say that. Thank you again if you hung in there for the 13. Oh, yay, 13 minutes. I'm gonna get out of here before 14. Yeah, bless. God bless. Yo, thank you. I hope that this little mini series is making sense. Till next time. Bye.